Hello and welcome to Sports News Africa, the home of Africa's sporting conversation. In this edition, we look back at some of the biggest stories on the African continent in this past week. Here's what's coming up. Gabon follows neighbours Equatorial Guinea in hosting the next Cup of Nations tournament. The draw for qualifying for that competition is also held in Cairo. And Issa Hayatou confirmed Africa's support for Sepp Blatter's re-election. Thank you for watching Sports News Africa. I'm Angela Agor. The Confederation of African Football announced on Wednesday that Gabon will host the Africa Cup of Nations in 2017. The Central African country replaces war-torn Libya as host after beating rival bids from Algeria and Ghana. 14 members of the executive committee voted in Cairo.
Gabon won a three-country contest against Algeria and Ghana on Wednesday to host the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations football tournament. The result of a vote among 14 Confederation of African Football Executive Committee members was announced in a Cairo hotel after the three candidates had made short presentations. A Gabonese Football Federation official said matches would be staged in the capital Libreville, Franceville, Port-Gentil and Oyem. Stadiums in Libreville and Franceville were used for the 2012 tournament, and the other two venues are expected to be ready by mid-2016.
Gabon has already organised an Africa Cup of Nations in 2012, but as co-organiser with Equatorial Guinea. So in a way, it was only half a cup, but now we have it entirely to ourselves, and Gabon is ready. We have 4 selected cities, and all 4 of them are ready, and will be ready to host the African Cup of Nations in 2017.
The choice of Gabon ended a 4-year saga over who would host the next edition of the biennial African football showpiece, with even suggestions that all 3 bidding countries could co-host the tournament.
All 3 candidates met all the conditions required to host the competition, but a choice had to be made. The executive committee even suggested the idea that the 3 countries could host together if possible, and we would have chosen that solution, avoiding disappointing anyone. But unfortunately, as you can see, the 3 countries are not close to each other geographically, so, unquestionably, we had to vote.
Gabon will be the second successive Central African country to host the championship after Equatorial Guinea earlier this year.
The draw for qualification for Gabon 2017 also took place on Wednesday, with some very interesting teams pitched against each other. Nigeria have drawn Egypt in Group G, with both teams desperate to make up for their failure to qualify for Equatorial Guinea 2015. Only 13 group winners are guaranteed places at the tournament, with just the best 2 runners-up also going through.
Gabon may be celebrating its selection to host AFCON 2017, but they have a tough time ahead after Wednesday's qualifying draw pits them against the reigning champions Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone and Sudan. The 2017 AFCON draw for the 13 groups was conducted in Cairo. Qualifying for 2017 will begin in June this year, with 52 of CAF's 54 member countries taking part. Only Somalia and Eritrea did not enter the qualifiers.
I think the draw looks very competitive. It's open. And for us, Sierra Leone, we've been seeded against the champions. We're in a group playing against Sudan, Gabon, and Cote d'Ivoire. And Cote d'Ivoire are the just champions of the African Cup of Nations. So it tells you it's a very, very, very serious group. And we are meeting them for the second time in a run.
Senegal appeared pleased with their group.
My group, I think that I will be with Niger, Namibia and Burundi. I have to respect these teams, but in the past I was in more tough groups, and I think we have all our chance because of our status.
Earlier CAF President Issa Hayatou announced Gabon had been selected to host the tournament, beating Algeria and Ghana. The Moroccan Football Association said it was content with the decision despite their preferred choice, Algeria, losing out.
The decision made by CAF Executive Committee to name Gabon as the host country is also respected. Actually, we were willing to award Algeria as host, but the decision made by the CAF is highly respected.
However, there are concerns that Gabon lacks the infrastructure required to host such a tournament. It currently has just 2 stadiums that meet international standards, though 2 more are planned. Allah Abdel Azizi, Administrative Director of the Egyptian national football team, said the most important thing is how determined a team is on the pitch.
Honestly, the soccer pitch is where better teams show their performance. There are many teams people have described as poor and with no experience, but such teams achieved good results when they played against Egypt. We should work very hard. We need to be well prepared, and I hope we'll do well to qualify for the finals.
The competition will take place in January and February 2017.
Kenya Premier League champions Gor Mahia take on AFC Leopards in the eagerly anticipated Nairobi derby this weekend. But the game has been overshadowed by security concerns in the wake of the terrorist attack at Garissa University, which left 147 people dead.
Soccer fans in Kenya are worried about security for Sunday's Mashemeji Derby and have called on the government to beef up security measures following the Al-Shabaab attack on a Garissa University in which nearly 150 students were killed. League defending champions Gor Mahia and perennial arch rivals AFC Leopards are due to face off at Nairobi's Nyayo National Stadium for the much-anticipated match. But with only just over a week since the attack, many fans are hesitant.
Without the derby being peaceful, I think most of the fans might end up not going to the stadium. That's one. But since we are mourning our students who are killed in Garissa, what we need first is security, and we are appealing to the government to beef up security on that day.
Much is expected. You know, it's more football. It's going to be fanatics. You'll see around in town, it will be green and blue. We'll be dancing, singing, cheering our team strongly to ensure that we deliver, not just in the field, but also as a fan. You want to feel to be part of the team.
Derbies across the world are characterized by chaos between rival fans, the most notorious being in Egypt between the main football clubs Al Ahly and Zamalek in the Cairo Derby.
See, in a derby, hooliganism must be there, and it is not even hooliganism. It is, we will call it, I can call it fanatism. So we will have FC fans and Gor Mahia fans. Definitely they will clash. That one I know they will clash.
Football fans have called for a peaceful game despite the rivalry.
We want to call upon our fans, both my fellow Gor Mahia fans and also the fans from the other side, that let's come in peace.
Nairobi's main streets are expected to be decked out in green and blue on Sunday as the Mashemeji battle it out.
Fenerbahce's African players Musa Sow, Emmanuel Emenike and Akili Webo have been left in shock after their team bus was shot at by a gunman at the weekend. The shooting, which left the driver injured, happened as the Turkish side were travelling to Trabzon airport to fly back to Istanbul following their 5-1 win over Rizespor.
After deliberations with government officials, the Turkish Football Federation announced the suspension of the Turkish League. Local matches have also been postponed by a week. This came after champions Fenerbahce's bus was shot at as it was travelling to Trabzon airport following their 5-1 victory against Rizespor. The players were unharmed, save minor cuts. The driver was injured but is now recovering in hospital. In a statement, the club termed the attack as an assassination attempt following hostility over months of match-fixing allegations surrounding the Fenerbahce's team. Fibonacci and Trabzon fans are banned from attending any match where the two teams meet. The ban came after a match last season was halted by fans throwing unknown objects onto the field. Second place Fenerbahce are 2 points behind arch rivals Galatasaray with 8 games left in the season. Trabzonspor ranks 6th in the league with 43 points.
In volleyball, hosts Al Ahly of Egypt won their 6th African Women's Club Championship after they beat Kenya Pipelines 3-1 in Cairo at the weekend. Pipeline coach Japeth Munala had hoped the team could win it for Kenya in the wake of the terrorist attacks in Garissa over a week ago. The 7-time record holders had to settle for silver. Tunisia's Carthage finished in 3rd place.
Egypt's women volleyball club Al Ahly were crowned the African Women Volleyball Club champions for the 6th time, beating Kenya's Pipeline 3-1 in the final match. The first set ended 25-16 to Al Ahly, but the climax came in the 3rd set with a draw at 23 points. After a tiebreaker, Al Ahly won 28-26 points. The hosts were ecstatic, clinching the title after a 7-year dry spell.
We have not won the championship for 7 years. The players were excellent. We had only 10 players without substitutions and we won, thanks to Allah.
The win came despite missing 2 key players who were injured in the last game. Despite this, the Egyptian side acknowledged that they were playing against a very experienced Kenyan side.
We played without the 2 center blocks. We made some changes in the positions of the players. The changes were quite good as we achieved a win against a club which won the championship title 7 times before. It is really a great success for Ahly Club.
This is the 6th win for Al Ahly, just 1 short of Kenya Pipeline who have bagged it 7 times. The 2 teams have met each other in a final for a record 13 times. In Sunday's other match, Carthage of Tunisia beat Egypt's Shams to take 3rd place in the championships.
Shams Club is a surprise of this championship. It is a very strong club. They were only just defeated by Kenyan side Pipeline. There was no huge gap between the results of the game, but we were well prepared for Shams Club. We changed the strategies. I told my players that we were just 1 step away from the bronze medal. So we were either to achieve it or go back to Tunisia with nothing, and we won.
The Sunday matches marked the end of the championship games that were held in Cairo, with Kenya's Pipeline finishing in 2nd place and Carthage of Tunisia coming in 3rd.
You're watching Sports News Africa. Up-and-coming cyclist Abdulraouf Akanga has earned a spot in the Togo national cycling team ahead of the International Cycling Tour of Togo later this month. 30 cyclists participated in the 102-kilometre circuit, which ended in the capital, Lomé.
As cyclist enthusiasts across the globe prepare for the thrills of July's Tour de France, riders in Togo are focused on next month's International Cycling Tour of Togo. The streets of Togo's capital Lomé were on Monday closed off for the country's National Cycling Championship. The Togo Cycling Federation organized the event to select a team for the 2015 Tour of Togo, which starts on May 11th. Cyclist Raouf Akanga emerged victorious in the championship, clocking 3 hours 6 minutes in the 102-kilometer circuit.
I am lost for words. I'm overjoyed. I don't know how to explain it because I started preparing 6 months prior to the event. Today, it finally paid off. Since December, I have competed in 4 races, achieving 4 victories in national level competitions, and I am satisfied.
The championship saw 30 cyclists participate from different clubs, but only 20 managed to finish. Despite clocking in at close intervals, the cyclists' finishing time fell short of the expected average. President of Togo Cycling Federation, Anani Asiongbong, talks about the preparation.
We have started the preparation of International Cycling Tour of Togo, with several races already completed. We will continue next week, and cyclists will be accompanied by a technical director.
Despite very few African countries concentrating on cycling as a professional sport, efforts to boost the continent's participation in international cycling are on the increase. The 2015 UCI Africa Tour is already on course, with Eritrea, Algeria and Morocco dominating the event with strong performances, even as the event is still in its early stages. In March every year, some 35,000 cyclists from across Africa and overseas participate in the 109-kilometer Cape Town Cycle Tour in South Africa. South African-based MTN Hobeka are the only African team participating in this year's Tour de France event.
Nearly 100 of the top junior tennis players on the continent are in Egypt for the International Tennis Federation's African Closed Junior Championships. International ranking points are at stake at the tournament at the Smash Tennis Academy in Cairo.
As the ongoing ITF African Closed Junior Championship enters its 4th day, the clay outdoor courts in Cairo have players battling for endurance in the blazing heat. The scorching sun, however, did not burn the players' resolve to win.
Today it was a hard day. I played single match and then doubles. I won both of them. With the hot weather and the conditions, I succeed to win my matches.
Yusuf Hassam, winner of last year's junior championships held in Nairobi, said that competition is stiff for this year.
I won this tournament last year in Kenya, Nairobi. This tournament this year is a bit different than last year because a bit tough. The last year was good, but today there's 3 or 4 players in the top 100. So tough tournament.
In the girls category, Russian-born Melissa Ifidzen made her debut for Nigeria on a winning note on Tuesday, April 7th in the doubles as she paired Elizabeth Garros-Palm to beat Algerian duo of Saadia Belhaji and Sihem Salih. The tournament comes to an end on 12th April.
And finally, former South African striker Richard HENYEKANE died in a car crash on Tuesday. HENYEKANE's last appearance in South Africa's Premier Soccer League was last Saturday in the Free State Stars' 1-0 defeat to AmaZulu in Durban.
A somber mood engulfed the streets of Johannesburg, South Africa, as football fans mourned the death of Free State star player Richard HENYEKANE. HENYEKANE died after a 5-seater vehicle in which he was traveling collided with a truck and burst into flames. The ex-Bafana Bafana striker was currently playing for the Free State Stars after joining the team in 2014 on loan. Football fans in Johannesburg are grieving over the loss of the great striker.
I feel that it's something that we have to really take time to look back at and just to commemorate, because he's one of the people who was trying to contribute to developing sports in schools in South Africa, and we need more people to try to contribute to better our school systems.
The 31-year-old striker made his debut for South Africa after netting 19 league goals with 3 hat-tricks during the 2009-2010 season with the Golden Arrows. HENYEKANE also played in a 2012 match that saw Brazilian Mamelodi Sundowns beat Powerlines FC 24-0.
We're feeling very bad. That was very painful, especially on the road. Somebody didn't get sick. That boy was playing international football, in fact. So that is very bad, especially with us as human beings. We can feel what they're feeling. His family is feeling pain, we're feeling pain also. So there's no story which we can do but to accept what God has done.
This accident follows the death of his brother Joseph HENYEKANE, who played as a defender for the Golden Arrows. He was found dead at his house last December.
We loved him very much. I feel so sad because even his brother, he died maybe about 1 or 2 months back. Yeah, it's very painful to us, we soccer lovers.
South Africa also lost Orlando Pirates goalkeeper Senzo Meyiwa late last year. He was gunned down in his home in Vosloorus on October 26th.
SA as a country, we are losing great soccer players actually. Because, if we're going to lose someone like Senzo, and then now we just lost another one.
The cause of the collision that led to HENYEKANE's death is yet to be determined.
And that's the end of Sports News Africa for today. Join us on Monday when we will bring you all the latest from Africa and around the world. Bye for now.